Jerry, thank you. It is a real honor to be here tonight. In watching the Academy Awards on Sunday night, I saw my wife's reaction when Christian Bale seemed to forget his wife's name. So let me begin by saying, thank you, Judy, for being so supportive, understanding, patient, and letting me keep my maiden name. I can't tell you what an honor it is to be with every other recipient here tonight. You all actually earned it. I just got it. I want to take a point of personal privilege to talk about the person who will follow me, Andrea Mitchell, who is our daughter's godmother. Every kid ought to have a Jewish godmother. She is the hardest working and most versatile reporter I've ever known, and one of the kindest and most generous friends. We spend every Christmas morning for going on a quarter century with Alan and Andrea. You notice you always tighten in January. We've had wonderful fun. They've been dear friends through a few of the painful moments of our lives and the many joyous ones. You know, you get honors like this when you're old. And for me, it always seems to be connected to Jerry Seib. About a decade ago, I received the William Allen White Award at his alma mater, the University of Kansas. Jerry's talents and his eclectic expertise are amazing. Nobody can do everything that Jerry can do. There is, I'm going to tell you, however, quite frankly, a time that he was eclipsed. When he and his wife Barb covered Egypt for the Wall Street Journal, Jerry was the backup. I remember several things about that William Allen White Award, including the fact that the first recipient, when I went out there in Lawrence, Kansas, the first recipient a half a century earlier was one of my mentors, James Reston of the New York Times. When I was a college junior, I was a stringer in Winston-Salem for something then called the UPI. And Wallace Carroll, the editor of the local paper and a former New York Times executive, brought his good friend Scotty Reston down for 3 days of lectures to the community and the college. And I covered him. It was one of the most exciting moments of my life. And I remember what was supposed to be his next to last night, I had an interview with him and I finished. It was November 21st, 1963. And I finished and Reston said to me, young man, you've asked me lots of questions. Now tell me, what are you going to do with your life? And I said, well, I'm undecided between law school or journalism. That's easy, he replied in Restonian fashion. As I was saying at lunch with Dean Acheson last week, in journalism, you only meet interesting people. Some are good, some are bad. But they're all interesting. That's who makes news. And he says, if you do it well, it matters. There's a lot of anxiety in our business today. We've seen the diminution of great media enterprises. But amid this gloom, there are more than a few glimmers of light and hope. Bloomberg News is one. We're only a little over 20 years old, but we're blessed with resources, journalistic integrity, commitment, and a soaring ambition. And these days, here in Washington and around the globe, issues are really complex, consensus elusive, and change omnipresent. What more could journalists ask for? What a time to be covering the news. If we do it well, as Mr. Reston said, it matters. And whatever the short-term travails, the marketplace and insatiable public thirst for reliable information and accountability is producing a new journalistic golden age. And that's why it's exciting to go to work every day. In closing, I want to thank several people. First, my close friend, the late Tim Russert. I changed jobs every 39 years. And after Matt Winkler offered me a job at Bloomberg in 2004, I thought about stretching that to 40 years. And one November morning, Tim Russert came over for breakfast. He listened to me, heard me talk about, my reservations, and he said, "You're crazy. What do you mean you're undecided what you're going to do? Take it, for God's sakes, challenge yourself, do something. It's fabulous. Do it." And I did it. Thank you, Tim. Mike Tackett is here, our bureau chief, who really runs things and knows more about Washington than anybody I know, and every day makes me look like I know what I'm doing. And I appreciate that. And Raquel Christie is my assistant who knows and understands what I mean rather than what I say. Norman Pearlstein was my boss in the 80s and the early 90s. Norman got the Ben Bradley Award in 1989, and then he took a small respite to be editor-in-chief at Time for about 12 or 13 years, and he joined Bloomberg in 2008. And I remember thinking, it's like being on the Chicago Bulls a decade ago, and Michael is back. We agree that we're working as hard, maybe harder than we did 25 years ago, and we're a hell of a lot older. But it's every bit as much fun. And last but not least, my editor-in-chief, Matt Winkler. Now, I've read that Matt can be demanding, even difficult. I can just tell you my experience. When he hired me 6 years ago to run the Washington Bureau, his instructions were simple. He said, make it the best. We're still a work in progress, but we've come a long way, and I wouldn't trade us woman for woman or man for man for any place else. And every step of the way, Matt Winkler has been encouraging and supportive. There is no one who doesn't bear the name of the company who has been more important to the extraordinary success and reach of Bloomberg than Matt Winkler. I thank him for the opportunity and enabling me to feel young again. So it's a real honor to receive this award from Jerry Seib and this foundation that's done so much good work. I feel terrific about our business. I feel terrific about you all. I feel terrific about tonight. And thank you so much.